Hello, I'm Susan Woods of Susan Woods Nonprofit Solutions, and I thank you for your time. The topic of this video message is why must you file your nonprofit's Form 990 information return? Why must you file your nonprofit's Form 990 information return? The subtitle: DOGE plans to cut 20% of IRS workforce by May 15th, 2025. The Department of Government Efficiency plans to cut 20% of the IRS workforce by May 15th, 2025. In this video message, I'm going to explain to you why this news is very important for nonprofit professionals. So let's dig in. The Department of Government Efficiency proposes cutting IRS workforce by a total of nearly 20%. And this is a report that just went out on this past Thursday, March 13th, 2025. According to CNN, the Trump administration and the Department of Government Efficiency are proposing a dramatic downsizing of the IRS that would result in a nearly 20% reduction of its workforce by May the 15th, which is 1 month after tax day in the United States. But it's the exact tax deadline for filing the Form 990 information return. April 15th, as we know, is the tax deadline for regular people. But for nonprofit organizations, the filing deadline for the Form 990 information return is May the 15th. We don't call it tax returns in the nonprofit sector. We call it Form 990 information returns. The latest round of layoffs would terminate nearly 6,800 people. And this is on top of about 6,700 probationary employees who have already been fired and 4,700 employees who took the voluntary buyout known as the Fork in the Road program from the Trump administration. Probationary employees are hires who generally have been on the job for less than a year. So when you add all of these numbers up, you can see how many people are being terminated or leaving the Internal Revenue Service. So the question becomes, how many of these terminations are coming from the tax exempt organizations division? That's the division that manages the application process to start nonprofits from scratch, the reinstatement process that people use to reinstate their nonprofit organizations after automatic revocation. And it is also the department that handles the Form 990 information returns. So when you have a total of 18,200 cuts, how many are coming from the tax exempt organizations division, the division that is relevant to nonprofit organizations? And the answer is, I don't know, because no one has, where I have seen in my research, no one has shown the number of employees who have already been terminated from the different divisions of the Internal Revenue Service. It's just they are showing how many people have been terminated from the Internal Revenue Service as a whole, but not specifically itemizing the divisions from which they were terminated. So I don't know how many people from the tax exempt organization division have already been terminated, how many will be terminated. We don't know. But I do know this, that if you have called the Internal Revenue Service over the years about your nonprofit organization, then you know we are already sitting on hold for at least 20, 30, sometimes 45 minutes. I have sat on the phone for 57 minutes waiting on someone to answer. I always tell people, if you have to call the IRS about your nonprofit organization, be sure to be on the phone waiting for them to open up the phone queue at 8 a.m. in the morning, because otherwise you're going to be waiting on hold for a long time. So with this many cuts, I cannot imagine, I cannot imagine how long you're going to have to wait on hold. So let's talk about what is a Form 990. In case you don't know what this is that I'm talking about, that you must file as soon as you possibly can because of the cuts. The Form 990 information return is the annual return that nonprofit leaders must submit to the Internal Revenue Service, IRS, each year to avoid automatic revocation. There are only a few exceptions to this rule, to this required annual filing. Ordinarily, you have to file the appropriate Form 990 information return each and every year, even if your nonprofit organization did not make any money, did not generate any revenues in a prior year. You still have to file the appropriate Form 990 information return. What do I mean when I say appropriate Form 990 information return? Well, let me show you. There are three major types of Form 990s. There are several types of Form 990s, but three major types of Form 990s. And here they are. The Form 990, you complete the Form 990 if your gross receipts, all of the money that you've gotten in through the year, during the last fiscal year, if your gross receipts are $200,000 and above, and you have assets totaling $500,000 and above, then you would file the Form 990 information return. If your total gross receipts are between $50,001 and $199,999, I'm being very specific here, and your assets are less than $500,000, then your organization is eligible to use the Form 990 EZ information return. Now, if your organization generated between zero, and zero is important here, because like I said, if it generated zero, you still have to file. So if your nonprofit organization generated between zero and $50,000, the assets are irrelevant, then your nonprofit organization is eligible to use the Form 990N, which is also called the ePostcard. So these are the three major types of Form 990 information returns. So now you need to look at your gross receipts. Now, gross receipts could be money that you got from grant funding, money that you got from tax deductible donations, money that you got from donor advised funds, any money that you got. Maybe you sold some merchandise. Any money that your nonprofit received during the year is included in your gross receipts. So when you calculate all of your gross receipts, then you can look at this table to determine which type of Form 990 your nonprofit organization needs to complete. I hope we are clear on that. Let's move on. When is your Form 990 due? If your fiscal year ends on any of these monthly end dates, then your Form 990 is due on the corresponding date. Now, look, if your fiscal year ends on December 31st every year, which is also a calendar year, then your 990 return is due on May the 15th of the following year. So if your fiscal year ended on December the 31st, 2024, then your Form 990 information return is due May 15th, 2025. Ordinarily, under regular circumstances, you could wait it out, procrastinate, and just get it in before May 15th. But during this chaotic time in which we are living right now, I do not recommend you waiting to the last minute to submit your Form 990 information return, because of the layoffs or terminations, we don't know. We don't know who's going to be there to make sure your Form 990 is processed accurately. And let me tell you something else. There is a glitch in the system that I use to submit the Form 990 information return on behalf of my clients, because this is something that I do. I complete the Form 990 in ePostcard for clients, for nonprofit leaders across the United States every year. I've been doing this since 2019. Since 2019, I've been providing that service. And there is a glitch that is preventing me from submitting the Form 990 in ePostcard on behalf of two of my clients. And I have called the IRS 4 times. 4 times. I called and I say, I'm having a problem. The error message is the system does not recognize the EIN. The EIN is valid because it's on the IRS.gov website. Going back and forth, the one young lady said, well, we don't help troubleshoot issues with EINs in the Form 990s. You have to go to our help desk. She transferred me to the help desk. The help desk says, well, we don't help troubleshoot issues with the EIN and submitting the Form 990. You have to go back to the IRS's Form 990 division, back and forth. So finally, I wrote a letter to the director of exempt organizations. His name is Stephen Martin. And I said, being passed back and forth, there's no resolution. And I said, the irony is, if we don't get these Form 990 submitted for 3 consecutive years, then the IRS automatically revokes our status. I said, but how can we submit the Form 990 when the system has a glitch? So I'm waiting to hear back from him. So that's another reason why it is imperative for you to go ahead and get the Form 990 in ePostcard submitted, because that's the only one that I do. I don't do the Form 990. I don't complete the Form 990 EZ. I only complete the Form 990 in ePostcard for organizations that generated between $0 and $50,000 in the last fiscal year. So let's look more deeply at the Form 990 ePostcard, since that's the only one that I complete for my clients. The Form 990N ePostcard, again, if your nonprofit organization generates $50,000 or less, let's just say between 0 and 50,000, because I want you to always remember we count the 0, then it qualifies to use the Form 990N ePostcard. I file the Form 990N ePostcard for nonprofit professionals who are too busy or simply do not have the desire to complete the process themselves. You may be too busy. You may not have an interest in learning how to do it. And you just want to rely on me to do it for you. And that's a service that I do provide. My $50 filing fee includes, I charge $50 to do this for you, but this is what the $50 includes. Helping the client confirm their nonprofit's eligibility to use the Form 990N ePostcard to file their annual report to the IRS. So I help you determine your eligibility to even use the Form 990N ePostcard. I complete the online process for you to submit the Form 990 ePostcard to the IRS. And then I send you the filing confirmation receipt for your records. And I encourage you to keep that receipt to prove that you filed. Within 90 days after I complete the filing for you, the filing will appear on the irs.gov website to show that you have filed your Form 990 information return. And that's important to investors because they want to make sure that you are demonstrating the ability to file your financial reports. And that's basically what they are, financial reports every year. And they may even want to take a look at it to see if you're demonstrating financial transparency. Let's take a look at what a filed confirmation notification looks like. This is my filed Form 990 ePostcard for one of the 2 nonprofit organizations that I founded. So you can see here It has Form 990N in the top left corner here where the mouse is moving. It has electronic notice, ePostcard. It has the Department of the Treasury, Internal Revenue Service. For tax exempt organizations not required to form not required to file Form 990 or 990EZ. You can only use this if you're not required to file the 990 or 990EZ. They have the year over here in the far right corner, 2024. So this is I just filed it, right? And then what does it say here? Open to public inspection. All nonprofit financial reports are open to public inspection. Very important, on the line item A, it says for the 2024 calendar year or tax year beginning 2024 January 1st, 2024 and ending on December 31st, 2024. That lets you know that I'm using a typical calendar year for my 990s. I use a calendar year to track my finances. I go from January the 1st to December 31st. So that is why, once again, my Form 990 e-postcard was due by May the 15th. Now, again, in line item B, it says gross receipts are normally $50,000 or less. The name of the organization is Comprehensive Community-Based Solutions Incorporated. The EIN is 42-1672537. And when I actively operated this nonprofit, I memorized the EIN because I said it so many times and people ask me, what's the EIN for the organization? They're asking me that so that they can do their research to see how we stand. What's the standing of the organization? And then it has the name of the principal officer is me. And if I had a website, the website would be listed here. But this again is an example of a filed Form 990E postcard. Okay. Now, if you want to use my services to file the Form 990N e-postcard for your nonprofit organization, I am happy to do so for you. You can scan this QR code right now, and it will take you to a Form 990N eligibility survey. This survey just asks you questions like, what is the name of your nonprofit organization? What is the EIN for your nonprofit organization? Are you confirming and validating that your nonprofit generated between $0 and $50,000 last year? I have to make sure that I have in writing that your nonprofit is eligible for the Form 990 e-postcard before I complete it for you, just to cover my business legally. Once you submit the eligibility survey confirming that your nonprofit organization is eligible to use a Form 990N e-postcard, then I will send you another link to get started. Get started with the process. In closing, I am Susan Woods. I started Comprehensive Community-Based Solutions Incorporated in 2003. I operated two programs underneath it called Panorama Computer Learning. That's a program that I used to offer where I would travel around and teach displaced manufacturing workers how to use computers to get new jobs. And I also offered a program called the Emerging Leaders Mentorship Program for Black male youth. I complete the 501c3 application packet for private clients to help them either start a 501c3 nonprofit organization from scratch or to reinstate one after automatic revocation from the IRS. I facilitate in-person and online classes for nonprofit leaders that covers a wide range of topics. Finally, I believe in lifelong learning, so I completed a nonprofit management certificate programs at Duke University, Winthrop University, and Wake Forest University. So once again, if you would like for me to complete the Form 990N e-postcard for your nonprofit organization, scan the QR code or just choose the link in the description. I provided a link to it in the description for you to get started. Please don't wait. We don't know what's coming up. We don't know how many cuts are coming out of the tax exempt organizations division and what backlog that's going to cause. I mean, in normal circumstances, you can't get a person on the phone for at least 20 minutes. when you call the IRS most of the time. So please don't wait. Please, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't hire me to do it yourself. Hire somebody else to do it, but get it done. This is important because we don't know what's coming down. So at least you will have your confirmation to say, I filed my Form 990N e-postcard this year. Thank you so much for your time. And if you would like to continue following me, my website is www.trustsusanwoods.com. Have a good day.